And a very good morning to you, and thank you for joining us. Before we start our bulletin this day, let's first take a look at the stories making headlines.
Against the expectations of many, President Moi led the reforms that enabled Kenya to enjoy vigorous de facto and de jure multi-party democracy, as well as civil and political freedoms.
I was in this school less than 2 months ago. I inspected the school. It's one of the finest primary schools in the country.
Cancer is a major health issue in the world and also in this country. The objective for being here is to create awareness. We're also here to make sure that we are able to provide services.
Well, thank you very much. You're watching GBS Morning Extra, coming to you live from our studios here in Nairobi, Kenya. My name is Timothy Omondi. My sign language interpreter is Philista Adundo. We start with the top news of the day, where Deputy President William Ruto yesterday read a speech eulogizing the former President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi for his great statesmanship. Ruto, in his speech, said that Moi sacrificed his personal ambitions as a teacher evangelist to take up the leadership at a critical time when the country needed someone to show the way.
And flagging patriotism, he sacrificed his personal comfort and happiness to secure stability and unity at all times in the history of our country. As a teacher evangelist who improbably and reluctantly entered political leadership and excelled in it, Mzee had no time to prepare or learn outside the job. His genuine concern, selflessness, loyalty, and sincerity, however, enabled him to acquire staying power and attract the support of millions of patriots. We will never forget Mzee's legendary personal discipline and determination to serve God all the days of his life, and the lessons as well as the example he has set for us must enable us to strive to excel in our time. He taught and mentored many into leadership, myself being one of them. Against the expectations of many, President Moi led the reforms that enabled Kenya to enjoy vigorous de facto and de jure multi-party democracy, as well as civil and political freedoms. He submitted himself to presidential term limits, graciously entering a dignified retirement. God has been kind to him as he enjoyed many peaceful years outside the presidency of Kenya. Mzee Moi's life and service is an undeniable legacy of success against daunting odds. It is also a challenge to our generation to rise up to the great responsibility of serious nation building, to have the courage to face our challenges without blinking, and to use his fine example to take Kenya forward. It is sad to say goodbye to a man whose legacy we all feel, and we thank the Almighty God for the gift of Mzee Moi's leadership. In this sad moment of great loss, therefore, let us still rejoice because of what he did for his countrymen and women. We pray for God to comfort the entire Moi family with divine solace, as well as the nation of Kenya. May his soul rest in peace. Thank you very much.
Now, still on the Moi story, Raymond Moi, son of the late former President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, issued a statement on behalf of the family at the Lee Funeral Home shortly After they had viewed the body of his late father, Raymond thanked the citizens of Kenya and the President Uhuru Kenyatta for their continued support to the Moi family at this tragic time.
He was with my brother, Senator Gideon Moi of Baringo County. And when I heard it, I was in Nakuru. I had to come back, and we arrived here about an hour ago. We have viewed the body, and I would like to thank all Kenyans for the concern and the support that they have given my family. From Mzee's family, I would also like to thank and appreciate the President of the Republic of Kenya, and also his emissaries that came. I'd like to thank the service commanders who are here, Mr. Matiang'i, who's also been here, and many, many other people who are friends of Mzee. So at this juncture, at this moment, a full statement will not be issued, but we will issue one because we will be going to Cabernet Gardens in the next few minutes, and after that then we will issue a comprehensive statement so that Kenyans can also appreciate and understand what has been going on for the last 2-3 months since Mzee has been admitted in this hospital. So I don't want to delve into what caused his death. You all know, or at least we are made to believe, that Mzee was born in 1924. But I would assume, and we all Kenyans, maybe Mzee was even slightly more than the 95 years that we know. So it is not really with sadness. It is more of us celebrating his life and his achievements and the service that he gave to this country. That is what we really need to celebrate about our former president. So with those few remarks, I'll say thank you so much, and we will be updating you. We will not keep you in the dark. We will be updating you so that you know exactly what is going on.
Now, away from that, we go to the western part of the country where Deputy President at the same time visited the Kakamega Primary School to condole with the families of the 14 children who perished on Monday evening at the Kakamega Primary School. The Deputy President assured the parents and families of the deceased that the government will carry out investigations into the matter and not allow a repeat of a similar occurrence ever again.
Jana kama hili lisitendeke tena katika kazi hii ama katika shule zingine zote katika mizozo ya taifa la Kenya. Watoto 14 kwa sasa maisha yao si jambo rahisi, na tunachukua jambo hilo kama jambo la dharura, jambo ambalo tunataka kutafuta kiini na sababu ya watoto kupoteza maisha yao katika jengo hili, na vile nimesema ndio kusipatikana tena janga kama hili. We must get to the bottom of whether it is structure of the building or some other small mishaps that happened or whatever it was. We are giving our security team time to give us a full report so that we can ensure that nothing like what has happened.
Now, still in Kakamega, earlier, before the Deputy President arrived, Kakamega Primary School was announced to have been closed temporarily to allow for investigations into the tragic death of the 14 pupils in a stampede that occurred Monday evening. Speaking at the school on Tuesday morning, Education Cabinet Secretary George Magoha said that the institution will remain closed briefly. He was accompanied by the the chairman of the organization, or the chairman of the County of Governors, Wycliffe Oparanya. Education CS also said that this issue will be looked into. Let's listen in.
Mujue tuko pamoja na wale ambao wameathiriwa, na tutaendelea kuwa pamoja mpaka mwisho wa safari hii. Nimeunda kamati katika ofisi yangu yale ambayo itatayarisha mazishi ya wale ambao wametuacha.
I want to state once again that I'm very familiar with this school. I was in this school less than 2 months ago. And I inspected the school. It is one of the finest primary schools in the Republic. It is also led by some of the finest teachers, including the head teacher. I was able to witness children going up and down the stairs.
Now, away from that, we cross over to Nyandarua County, where county administrations have been urged to at least come up with a cancer basic unit where they can screen and diagnose cancer in a bid to control its prevalence. The director to National Cancer Institute, Alfred Karagu, who represented the outgoing Health Cabinet Secretary Cecily Kariuki in an event to mark the World Cancer Day at the Oljoro Rock Stadium in Nyandarua County, noted that it was not economically viable to have a comprehensive care cancer center in every county. He was also accompanied by the First Lady of Nyandarua County.
Basically, we are here partnering with the Nyandarua County government to celebrate the World Cancer Day. This is a day that is marked all over the world, and the objective is really to create awareness around cancer, because cancer is a major health issue in the world and also in this country. The objective for being here is to create awareness. We are also here to make sure that we are able to provide services, screening services, and even as we engage with the county, we also want to collaborate with them so that we build their capacity to be able to provide cancer services in this country.
And today we are very delighted, excited, really happy to have these national celebrations of cancer in our county. And cancer has become, each one of us is either affected or suffering in a way in the family. And so we've come together to really try and fight and see how we can eliminate this disease. I am following in the footsteps of our National First Lady, Margaret Kenyatta, who has strongly come out and has really motivated us as county First Ladies, because we have a County First Ladies Association where we have county First Ladies in our 47 counties who we have come together, and we have a platform as an association on how we can fight the disease in our counties. And so I am...
Now, still on the World Cancer Day, at the same time, the Kenya Navy Commander Levi Mgalu commemorated the KDF World Cancer Day at the Nali Naval Base in Mtongwe. Let's listen into this.
It's the second edition of the Kenya Defense Forces na majeshi ya ulinzi ya Kenya kuadhimisha siku hii ya saratani ulimwenguni. Na hapa Mtongwe si vile vikosi vya jeshi ambavyo viko eneo la pwani peke yake. Hii ndio main venue for the entire KDF. Majeshi ya ulinzi yote pahali ambapo sherehe hizo zinafanyika ni hapa Mtongwe. Kwa hivyo sio kwa Kenya Navy peke yake, na vile umeona kuna askari na maafisa kadhaa ambao wamevaa sare za majeshi yetu ya wanahewa wa nchi kavu, wameungana na sisi wanamaji kwa hii screening. Visa vya wanajeshi ambao wanapatikana kuwa na saratani vinazidi kuongezeka, na hiyo ndio sababu tunahimiza kila mtu ajitokeze kuja kwa screen mapema, na vile mmesikia kutoka kwa madaktari wetu, ikigunduliwa mapema inaweza kutibiwa ama hutibika. Kwa hivyo ni kwa advantage ya kila mtu. Kuna primary school moja hapa Kenya Navy Base Mtongwe, na tumeongea na mwalimu mkuu kule, wao pia wakati wa break ya lunch watakuja hapa, na baadaye jioni, na itaendelea mpaka siku zingine kufikia Ijumaa. Mimi mwenyewe kama mzazi niko na msichana of course, lakini alipita umri zamani lakini kwa bahati nzuri nilikuwa nimesoma kuhusu mambo ya saratani, hiyo ya cervical cancer especially, na kuchukua wosia wa madaktari, nikampeleka akapatiwa hiyo chanjo mapema.
Well, from that, we do take a short breather, and then when we come back, we still have lots lined up for you, including a constitutional review in the Republic of Somalia. So don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after this.
Now it's time for speaking. Everyone, are you ready?
Kwa mtu alikuwa anauma. Si niliwaambia.
Oh Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, please shine down on me.
Kwaheri.
Everywhere, GBS.
And welcome back. Now to Somalia, where a 3-day public consultation and the constitutional review process event ended well with a renewed appeal for all Somalis to participate in an inclusive and transparent dialogue and contribute to finalizing the country's fundamental law. Let's take a look at this story by our reporter Doreen Wawira.
An open public consultation in Mogadishu brought together over 100 representatives of youth, women, elders and persons with disability eager to have their views included in the final constitution. The public outreach campaign will advance the country's constitutional review process, a key milestone in the state-building process of Somalia. Abdirahman Osman Mohamed, a member of the National Union of Somali Students, held the initiative to consider the opinions of ordinary citizens, including the youth. During this inaugural consultative meeting, participants reviewed all the chapters of the Provisional Constitution of the Federal Republic of Somalia and raised appropriate issues related to immigration, security, the electoral process, power and natural resource sharing, the justice system, the structure of the government and the status of the capital city. To advance the constitutional review and the implementation process, Ministry of Constitutional Affairs, MOCA, works jointly with the Independent Constitutional Review and Implementation Commission with the Joint Parliamentary Oversight Committee. The ongoing nationwide campaign will cover all the federal member states of Somalia and will enable citizens to contribute to the constitution-making process. Wawira Doreen, GBS Morning Extra.
Now, across borders still to the Republic of South Sudan, where the United Nations envoy on youth, Jayatma Wikaramanyake, has called for the greater investment in education in the small country, more opportunities for girls to realize their full potential, and also for increased participation on youth, on more generally on leadership in South Sudan. Let's take a listen.
Concluding her visit in South Sudan, the UN envoy, Jayatma Wickramanayake, comments on her one-week-long visit to the conflict-affected country. Flexing their muscles and showing off their physical strength, These young athletes are indulging their competitive flash by taking on opponents in an intense wrestling match. While the fight is fierce, their motivation is much gentle. The wrestling event is part of a series of activities designed to unite young Sudanese under the theme of sports for peace and social cohesion. The envoy on youth met hundreds of young people, many of whom expressed concern that they are being excluded from the peace process.
The participation of the young people in the peace process in this country, it is so low because of a number of things. One, maybe these people, they are not aware of the information. Two, the issue of the education, it is another challenge also, okay? And also, and the capacity building of young people, it is too low. And also, young people, they need to unite, they need to come together as a force, you know, in order for them, you know, to explore opportunities, you know, to move the country forward.
The youth envoy expressed her support for all these issues and has raised them with political leaders who are still negotiating their way through outstanding issues such as formation of a unified security force and decisions on states and boundaries before a new government is due to be formed in a few weeks' time.
Peace is a precondition for young people to thrive. Peace is a precondition for young people to be able to positively contribute to their families, to their societies. So as we look forward to the developments on the 22nd of February and beyond and the implementation of the peace agreement, I cannot stress enough how important it is to have a peaceful and safe environment for all these millions of young people to thrive.
The long history of conflict in South Sudan has devastated the education system and economy, as well as creating a climate of political uncertainty. More than 70% of the population are aged under 30. The lack of education, skills and job, combined with politically motivated ethnic tensions, has prevented many of these young people from reaching their full potential. Young women are most affected, particularly by ongoing gender-based violence, traditional practices such as early forced marriages that prevent them accessing education and career opportunities. The youth envoy said the strongest and most resilient voices she has heard during her week-long visit were young women talking about the challenges they faced, but also looking to the future with hope and positivity.
To support the daughters of South Sudan. And I really call on everyone to put the focus on ending gender-based violence, especially child marriage, tackle some of the cultural challenges, structural challenges, societal challenges that we are having to help these young women to realize their fullest potential. Otherwise, we will be derailing the lives of millions of girls who can otherwise be the leaders that are leading this country towards peace and development.
Prior to her departure, the youth envoy urged the government to invest more in education, endorse the African Youth Charter, and adopt a national youth policy to set the framework for development so that millions of young South Sudanese can look forward to a brighter future.
They see you as an asset and you cannot do anything else. It's you to be there, and someone who was 500 cow comes and marry you and then to give benefits to the family. And maybe the society believe that that is the role of woman, which is wrong and which should be changed by empowering the girls, giving them the right education.
Reporting for GBS Morning Extra, I am Wawira Doreen.
And now further afield, up to more than 130 women in France have been killed either by their partners or their exes, as French lawmakers prepare to present proposals against domestic violence. The fight against the femicide goes on. Now, Palestinian protesters clash with Israeli security forces near a checkpoint in Ramallah. They are protesting against U.S. President Donald Trump's peace plan, which offers Palestinians a pathway to a limited state. Hundreds of Palestinians clash with Israeli soldiers over the U.S. Donald Trump's new plan. The Palestinian Red Cross and Red Crescent say that 48 Palestinians were wounded during the clash with Israeli troops, while an IDF soldier was lightly hurt by a rock thrown aimed at rioting police. Palestinians burned tires and threw rocks in the streets to stop the police from advancing. The plan, which was released last week, was angrily rejected by the Palestinian, terming it as heavily biased towards Israel. The protests were also in Gaza, Jordan, Lebanon, and Turkey. Now, Greek police fired tear gas to disperse migrants and refugees protesting on Monday about conditions in migrant camps on the island of Lesbos and the slow pace of processing asylum requests. Violence broke out near the Kara Tepe camp after hundreds of people, including women and children, marched from the island congested migrants camps to the city. Babies and toddlers were tear-gassed by police, but volunteers used Coca-Cola to wash the gas out of their eyes. Aid groups have also described living conditions in some of the Greece island camps as atrocious. Now, evacuated from China, North Africans landed in Algiers International Airport after being quarantined for 14 days at a hotel in La Marsa, 30 kilometers east of the capital. Global evacuation are underway for China and from China as health authorities report 17,205 confirmed cases of a new viral outbreak that has so far killed 361 people. The groups that landed in Algiers included 36 students and an additional 17 citizens of 3 other North African countries. Following the flight landing Air Algeria, the Northern African nation flag carrier, announced it was suspending its weekly flights to Beijing preventively. Algeria employs thousands of Chinese, often construction site workers. Algeria has not announced any positive cases of the coronavirus. Well, with that bit, we do take a short break, but then we take a look first at what happened today in history. Well, and with that, we do take another break. If you are just joining us, just keep the conversation going on through our hashtag. That's GBS Morning Extra. Our Twitter handle is @KenyaGBS. I now pave way for my colleague Kevin Nyariki, who is coming up next with the Sports Extra. From me, I'm Timothy Omondi. Do have yourself a lovely day. My sign language interpreter, of course, was Felista Adundo.